We've been screwed again, you guys. Okay, let me tell you how. Did you guys know that there are two constitutions? There are. And guess what? The one we're using is not benefiting us. So let me tell you how this happened. Back in 1871, the United States became a corporation, if you didn't know. That's where it started. When they created this corporation, which was basically, that's where DC, the District of Columbia, came out of, this corporation basically took our original Constitution, which gave the rights to the people, the freedom to the people, and tossed it in the trash, never to be seen from again, and rewrote it and made their Constitution, which is now basically what we go by. The difference was very, very tricky. What they did was, one of them is called the Constitution for the United States of America. The other one is called the Constitution of the United States of America. That little word change made all the difference in the world. How do you ask? Well, basically, when they rewrote the new Constitution, it gave them all the power. It gave them the power over us. For instance, in our original Constitution, the one that is of the United States of America, we the people have a right to travel freely in our personal vehicles on public highways and roads. We don't need licenses. We don't need insurance. We don't need any of that. We can travel freely. According to their Constitution, which we go by, we now have to have registrations, insurance, pay taxes in order to drive on a public highway. That's one instance. Do you think that's bad? There's a lot more.
Good evening. I am Anatolian Anatolisaba, and this is Patriots Must Rise. Have a lot to talk about today. Some of it good, some of it not so good, but that's life. First, it is June. Well into the first week, entering the second week of June, and not one gay pride flag has been seen by my wife or I on any government building. There are no plans for these demonic parades to go on, and I pray that they don't. I really do. On another note, college campuses are forcing diversity classes as a prereq for any of their courses. So you have to be indoctrinated by force into their Marxist regime. And you're probably not going to get a job in that discipline anyway. All right. Now, in Idaho, the state has turned off water on the Snake River to thousands of farmers and thousands of people. The general consensus is that just like them blowing up food plants and burning food production plants. The inability to grow potatoes is just one more way to starve the middle class. Raise the prices of food through artificially produced famine. Well, to those that might have the power to stop this from happening, we see this. We know what you're doing. And unlike past oppressions, this is the age of communication. We're comparing notes. We're comparing notes and we know what you're doing. So you might want to think twice about it. Because if it comes right down to it, and it's a difference between no water for my family or my crops. I'm not a farmer, but or my crops versus your life. I will hunt you down, slit your throat, turn on the water, and then tell everybody in the valley that the water is back on. I will blow up the dam and make sure that you can't stop it from coming to us again. That's where we're at. That's the reality. On the local level, the C-Tran bus system has been neglecting their ADA compliancy obligations again to the point of people possibly getting hurt. And I'm looking for any evidence that this is happening, because I am planning to file yet another lawsuit against them. To be honest, just to be a pain in their ass. The more time that they're in court, the better it is for everybody. I kind of learned that from what the Democrats did with Donald Trump. So that's what I'm going to do. I also have some challenges that well, you got to see it, because you're not necessarily going to believe it. Alright. So let's get into this.
You've all heard people talking about how we don't have a two-party system in America, or even how basically it's just a handful of elites throughout the world that want to control everybody. In previous videos, I've talked about how the cost of living and the cost of rent, the cost of food, and everything else has a stench of planning. And that's an understatement. Like I said in another video, if you can't afford to take time off for a vacation to go to the beach or go to Washington, D.C. to possibly protest against a rigged election, it's better off for those who consider themselves the elite. If you can barely put food on the table, it's pretty clear that you're going to be focusing on work rather than staging an uprising. I'm not the most eloquent person to be leading any kind of uprising, but one needs to definitely happen. I've been hit in the head way too many times. I'm physically disabled. But I'm just trying to explain exactly what's going on as to why it is so hard for people to actually live nowadays. And to the Gen Zers, it's not just your generation. It's everybody. We need to start banding together and overthrow those that think that they deserve to be in charge. For those of you that do not know, the minimum wage is a scam. And it is very important that people do understand this. When you raise the minimum wage, the people that are on minimum wage are being raised to another tax bracket. That tax bracket means that more money comes from the lowest income earners of the population and is put into the pockets of the elite. It shouldn't impress somebody to hear a politician saying that they're going to raise the minimum wage. Of course they're going to raise the minimum wage, because that frees up income for their pet projects. Okay. The environment on a construction site changes daily. Okay, I don't know if you can see the string, but that's a major trip hazard for me. The gravel and the steel plate, that's going to be another issue throughout the night. If I step too close to the edge, I slip. And I'm kind of forced to step too close to the edge because of where the forklift is. See that? That was actually just 2 minutes ago where I was trying to walk by. I have fallen. I have broken my wrist to the point that most of my arm is metal. All basically because of my visual impairment. It is not easy, but I still do it. Tomorrow, I'm taking my family out to dinner, and it's nice to be able to do. I don't know if you can see this, but this obstacle course is what I've been having to travel through all night. Uneven. I've turned my ankle like 4 times, in a lot of pain. And while my foot is still, or it's getting better, but it's still broken. This gravelly clay is very dangerous. I don't think anybody actually believes that election in America is fair. And I think it's very foolish for anybody to assume that the 24 election is going to be any different. The reason that I showed you the obstacle courses that I have to walk through over the course of a shift is to show you that everybody these days is dealing with struggles. Financially, physically, whatever it might be. I can't use a cane at work. Sometimes I kind of cheat when I know that nobody's watching. But it's dangerous. There are metal pegs sticking out randomly in the ground that if you fall, you're stabbed by them. You're impaled. It's very dangerous. Anyway, it makes for a difficult time, for sure. And I'm not saying that mine is any more difficult than anybody else's, but I think people can relate to the whole idea of having to choose for rent or food in this artificially inflated economy where the powers that be are literally trying to starve the middle class, the people that grow the food in the first place, because they're terrified of losing control. I'm Anatoly Anatoly, this is Patriots Mascaras. Please, like, subscribe, live free, die well, and love your neighbor as Christ has loved you.